We are here with the very talented Giovanni Watson, actor, dancer, choreographer. The list goes on.
How you doing, man?
Man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Going through these crazy times right now, man. I'm, just trying to stay afloat, stay on that boat, keep my head above water, man.
I feel you. I feel you. So let's kind of go back in your career. I know you've done a lot in your career. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, you've done so much. So for you, how did you get started in the entertainment business? And for you, what is your enjoyment been from it?
Man, I started back like 14 years ago. I'm from Gary, Indiana. And I had started off with my dancing. My sister was an artist at the time. And a choreographer was flying into town to work with her by the name of Roland Roro Tabor. Like, he's choreographed and danced for Aaliyah, MC Hammer, Missy Elliott, and he pretty much known for choreographing all of Marion's legendary stuff like Oh and Touch. Dance for fun. And he came to town and he was like choreographed for my sister, and I had knew who he was. I was like in awe of him. And one day I was dancing and I tried to battle him. Wrong mistake. And he not annihilated me, but he said, "Listen, man, you can dance. Like, if you ever in LA, here's my number, give me a call." Unbeknownst to me and my sister were going to LA like 2 weeks later. And I went and I said, "Yo, I'm in LA." He said, "Oh, word, come to this audition." And I went to the audition and I didn't know who it was for. It was only me and like 3 other dudes, and it was for Amorion. And that's kind of what got my dancing career popped off, dancing for Amorion. And that took me to, so many other artists like will.i.am, Tamar Braxton, Beyonce, Chris Brown, and the list goes on and on. And that's how I got my foot in the door with this industry.
And for you, what would you say would be your enjoyment from it?
Traveling the world. I've seen a lot of places that, I never thought I would see. Meeting so many people, building so many connections with people, and also just disciplining. Like, you go through a lot of stuff when you're in this industry, man. From homelessness to being hungry to not having a lot of money to really getting up and having to go get what you want, man, and not being lazy. And that taught me a lot of discipline.
We go way back for years. I know you're from Gary, Indiana. You didn't live that far from the Jackson house.
Nope.
What has the transition been like for you, being from Gary, Indiana, moving to LA? Because I know you've been in LA for quite some time.
Man, first off, Gary, Indiana will always be my home, man. I live off and thrive off the fact that I'm from. It still boggles my mind that I'm literally from the same place and was literally living 10 minutes away from the biggest artist in the universe. Like, every artist, every person looked up to Michael Jackson. And for me to be from that same place, it just gave me hope that I had a purpose. Because, like, coming from Gary, Indiana to LA is a big, big transformation, man. I do it for just not myself. I do it for my Gary, Indiana people, my Hoosiers. And I thrive off the fact that I made it out of that place, man. That place is a cesspool of just depression. And a lot of people that's from Gary, they kind of like, they love Michael, but they kind of got mad at him because they feel like he didn't really do more for the city that he could do. And I understand that, but at the end of the day, my goal is to bring back things to Gary. Like schools, we have no schools, a lot of charter schools. There's no rec centers. There's no after-school programs. So Gary, Indiana is pretty much what keeps me going.
Now I gotta ask you, have you ever met Michael Jackson before you passed?
I had a chance to meet Michael Jackson in 2003. The Railcat Stadium, we had a baseball stadium built, and my cousin Chester Gregory, he's from Gary, and he's an amazing actor, artist. He's like a huge super Broadway superstar. And he does this thing, he does Jackie Wilson, and Jackie Wilson was one of Michael Jackson's favorites. So he does this amazing Jackie Wilson impersonation, and he performed for Michael. And me and my boy Steve had the honor of dancing with him as he performed for Michael, and I had a chance to meet him. And this was the first time I was like, before then, I knew who Michael was, but it was more like, yeah, he's dope, but I don't see why people be screaming and crying and passing out, until I shook that brother's hand. Great job, guys. You were amazing. You really did a great job. I love the way you dance. It's really good. And I shook his hand, brother, and I don't know what it was. I just felt this heat, this hot Like, I felt it. So I can't say, and I'm happy to say that I got a chance to meet Michael before it's despised. But also after that, I got really close with a lot, because when I moved to LA, I got close to a lot of his family. I met Janet Jackson, BET Awards 2008, and I saw Jermaine Jackson. I was like, "Yo, Jermaine, listen, man, blah blah blah. I'm from Gary, Indiana." He was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm from Gary." He was like, "Come here, come here." He was like, "Janet, he's from Gary," and she was like, "Oh, he's cute." She said I was cute. Boy, that made my day. Jermaine said, "Listen, if there's anything you ever need, take my number." Took his number, and I would call him from time to time, and he will always pick up the phone. But I ended up meeting like his niece, Genevieve Jackson. I dated her for a little bit. Like, I got close to Evan Ross. I got close to Austin Jackson, B.Howard. And I still talk to these people to this day, man. So I was happy that happened, because now I'm close to the Jacksons in some way.
Like I said, you're multi-talented in all aspects. You know, which one stands out the most to you?
Acting and I think the music, but more so the acting. That's what I'm really, really passionate about.
Talk about your success in acting.
I think my favorite, I enjoyed doing Unsolved, the Murders of Biggie and Tupac a lot. I played Reggie Wright Jr. in a reoccurring role. And I did a lot of research on that brother. There wasn't a lot of stuff out there about him, so I really had to kind of talk to the producers, Greg Kading, who was a real-life leading investigator on that case. And he gave me a lot of jewels about how his mannerisms are and how he talked and how he was this big guy, but he wasn't threatening at all. You know, I gained like 80 pounds for that role, you know, and then I actually got the chance to talk to Reggie Wright Jr. after the series came out. And he's like, "Yo, man, I love the way you portrayed me. You know, you really pulled me off." And that felt good. I love playing people. You know, outside of that, I think Restored Me, I was leading that. I went from playing an 18-year-old to a 32-year-old pastor. So I really had to show range in a short amount of time with filming in 17 days. So those are my two favorite bodies of work thus far.
Now, like you mentioned before, you know, you dance for various people: Chris Brown, will.i.am, Tamar Braxton, the list goes on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what has those experiences been like for you?
Good and bad. You know, you get to see certain sides of these artists that the public don't see because you're spending so much intimate time with them, like in rehearsals and on planes and on tour buses. I really enjoyed Dance for will.i.am the most. He is one of the most humblest, funnest, outgoing people I've ever worked with. Doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. You know, he likes to party, but he's very closed off if he doesn't know you. But it's not in an asshole way. It's just more like to protect his energy, I believe. Chris Brown, that was great. There was a lot of moments I saw, but I understood it because that brother, you know, you've been held everything that you want on the platter at such a young age. It can really torment your soul. And he had a lot of people around him that I think that wasn't good for him or his spirit, which kind of made him act certain ways that I saw. I'm not going to say. And everybody I've danced for has been a good experience, but you always see that at the end of the day, they are human, that they deal with shit just like we deal with shit. And then there's so many people that they're taking care of. Like if Chris Brown or will.i.am or one of these artists don't work, there's so many people that's not going to be employed. You know, so I can see how the stress can affect them. But, you know, it's a lot of good and it's a lot of bad. You know, there's a lot of great times as well. And then a lot of times, like, you know, I come out of these artists and they become friends. Like will.i.am, after I stopped dancing with him, he's come to damn near every one of my birthday dinners. You know, me and Chris was very close until, you know, so like I said, he go through so much, he has to change his number a lot. Another artist that I was really close with, Agnes Mo. But, you know, they still human at the end of the day. You see the good and you see the bad. And once you see the bad, they trust you. They are trusting you to not let that bad get out.
And you've also had a successful music career too. You've released about 3 songs, Comeback, Wraith Mode, and
The thing with the music is I really love it. And I think I have some great music. It's just getting in the studio. You know, I had a great partner songwriter by the name of Nick Welch who moved to Nashville. So that kind of took my spunk away from the music because like I just worked so great with him. But I did release a song not too long ago called Gramercy featuring Mac Wilds, which is really, really dope. And I dive into music because I feel like a lot of actors want to be artists and a lot of artists want to be actors. So they kind of like double dutch between the two with each other. And like, it's nothing better feeling than just not seeing yourself on screen and seeing people react to your performance. But it's also a great feeling to hear your song in a club and seeing people dancing and females twerking to it or singing to it, you know? So the music is still on the plate. I just got to get back in the booth. But I did just recently just record a whole comedy EP based off the character that I created like 10 years ago named OG Bobby Love called COVID 19 Inches. It's a comedy EP. And right now, a lot of people are doing comedy EPs, like my boy Lamorne Morris. He just released a comedy album called The Morning After Pill. Like Lil Dicky is one of my favorite rappers in the world. And during this COVID-19, I just was sitting in the house. I couldn't work, and I was forced to be creative. And my producer partner, Joe DeFran, said, yo, you need to do a comedy EP. And at first, I wasn't too sold on it. I got to thinking about it, and I was like, yo, you're right. And I created this comedy EP called COVID 19 Inches. I wrote in a matter of like 2 to 3 days, and I'm just trying to release it today. So it's very, very relevant to what's going on in the world, but it's some good songs on there, and it's funny.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that question, but I do want to ask you. You created the character OG Bobby Love. It's been around for years in your career. You know, what was the inspiration behind OG Bobby Love? Was he somebody family that you based him off of? You know, what was it?
OG Bobby Love came about. I had a good friend, and this was right when I was trying to get my acting career going. I was like, yo, I need to get my reel edited. So I sent him all my footage, and, you know, he lost my footage. And he was like, yo, I'm sorry, man. I lost all your footage, but I'll shoot you some stuff. I'll shoot you some new stuff. I'll shoot you some new stuff, he said. And I said, whatever, cool, whatever. I didn't know what I was going to shoot. I just took clothes, and Bobby Love was, you know, I had a suit that I've been having for like a few years, and I went to set. And at the time, I didn't even know his name. I didn't know his name was going to be OG Bobby Love or Bobby Love. And I just remember I put the suit on. I didn't know what his voice was going to be. I had these glasses. I just threw the glasses on. And as I'm walking to go shoot, not knowing what I'm going to shoot, I say, yo, I need a cigarette. So I asked somebody, I was like, yo, you got a cigarette? They gave me a cigarette. And literally, you can find the clip on YouTube when Bobby Love was birthed. It was literally, they said, I knew his name was going to be Bobby Love at some point. I was okay, what's his name? Bobby Love. Right before they said action. And they said, Bobby Love commercial, take one, action. And you see me like pause because I don't know what to say. And then out of nowhere I said, good evening, everybody. I'm Bobby Love. And he just was created right there. He was literally born on camera. And I based him off, as I started really getting deeper into the character, I based him off like Red Fox, Sugar Free, and just like one of those uncles, like those old school uncles, man, you know, that still think they're young, but they're not. So I kind of just made a gumbo of just a lot of people, and I just put them into Bobby Love. And every day I do Bobby Love. Every time I do Bobby Love, I discover something new about him.
In your career, you know, who are some of your inspirations?
Will Smith, for sure. I've had the chance to I've had dinner at Will Smith's house once, and then I went to his house another time for his niece's birthday. Was so afraid to talk to him because I was so damn starstruck. And I don't get starstruck. I don't. And this was about 12 years ago. I haven't met him or seen him since. But Will Smith, Denzel Washington for sure, Tom Hardy, Shia LaBeouf, actually. That brother's a beast when it comes to this acting. When it comes to acting, those are the people who really Johnny Depp, Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell, all of the Wayans, Tommy Davidson, David Allen Greer. There's so many people that I look every day, and Martin Lawrence, and I'd be like, my God, these brothers and sisters are so talented, man. You know, Tracy Ellis Ross, man. I'm so inspired, and I look up to so many people. And I try to take little giblets from them, if it's from just not their social media, but their body of work as well.
Any memorable experiences that really stand out the most to you? Because I know you've done a lot.
I spent New Year's Eve with Jamie Foxx at his house. And I had kind of met him before, but not met him. And this particular night, I had the courage to be like, yo, Jamie, man, I just want to say thank you for the invite to your house, blah, blah, blah. He was like, you Bobby Love. I said, how did you, like, in my mind, like, how do you know about Bobby Love? He said, that's a good character, man. I like that character. I really like that character. And I was like, yo, man, thank you so much. I was like, yo, can I get a picture? And I was like, he's like, absolutely. We took a picture. And he said, when we took the picture, he was like, look off into the distance, like you're looking into your future. And we took the picture and he said, you're gonna make it. He's like, your future's bright. That's why I told you, look off, don't look at the camera, look off like you're looking into your future. And I think about that all the time. I've since to work with him. I would love to work with Jamie Foxx. I would love for him to come aboard of Bobby Love, the movie, and exec produce it, man. But that stands out a lot. And of course, the Will Smith going to his house. And, you know, I do have a moment with Will too. I went to his house. This is right when his nephew, K. Smith, is a good friend of mine. He had just moved to Cali. And my boy Jukebox took me. He's a producer. And I didn't know who house we was going to. And Juke and me driving up to the house, estate. And we get there. And I turn around and here comes Will, just all gray hair. This is like 12, 13 years ago. All gray hair. But he had a body of like a stone cold 27-year-old. I think it was about to film something. And K. Smith, his nephew, performs, and Will Smith and Dwayne Martin sits right in front of me. And after he's done performing, Will Smith turns around and says, so what you think? I said, about what? About my nephew. What do you really think about him? I said, yo, I think he's dope. He was like, cool. And like, for Will Smith to literally turn around and is dead in my face said, yo, so what you think? Man, I still think about that to this day. So those are my two fondest moments that stick with me.
You mentioned the Bobby Love, the movie. Is that something that's next in OG Bobby Love's career?
Yes, man. My producer and writing partner, Joe DeFrance, we've had this script written now for 8-9 years. We've been very close before to make the film. Either somebody always want to change a script. Well, we think it should be like this. And then you try to adapt to what they want because they're the ones putting up the money, and then shit doesn't go through. So we're trying to do it independently. I know will.i.am said he will exec produce. But right now we're just trying to get the money to shoot it, man. We already got some names attached. It's a great script. We haven't seen a black coat classic character since, Medea, but I'm talking about like a black coat classic character. Like you got your Ace Venturas, you got your Ron Burgundies, you got your Napoleon Dynamites, but the last thing we had in this genre was Pootie Tang, and then we had Black Dynamite. But now it's time for something else, and we haven't seen Black Dynamite in about 7-8 years, I believe. So now it's time for OG Bobby Love. He's the next.
So presently, right now, you just released OG Bobby Love EP, COVID-19 Inches.
Mm-hmm.
No. But what is the present goals for you? What are you working on right now?
Just creating, man. Just writing. I can't film anything, so I'm just writing. I got some short films that are written. One thing Marlon Wayans said, he said, you can't wait on Hollywood. You'll be waiting forever. So you got to make your own paths. So I'm going to write my own stuff starring me as the lead, and surrounding people around me to show my skills. So that's all I've been doing right now is just writing, creating more for Bobby Love, working on just my impersonations better and just making myself better. So when we come out of this, my arsenal is going to be even better before it was when we went in.
And what are your future goals?
I just want to have a great family. I want to be successful. I don't care about fame. I just want to be successful, financially stable with my family, man, and be mentioned among people that have great bodies of work. I want to get to a point when they do talk about the Will Smiths or the Terrence Howards or the Don Cheadles or the Lawrence Fishburnes, they say, yeah, man, but Giovanni Watson too. I want to be mentioned amongst those names.
Any special shout outs out there?
I want to shout out to Justin Baptiz for sure. shout out to you, brother, man. You've always been a day one solid brother, man. Thank you for always being there and always being real. Shoot, I want to shout out to just my kids, young California. And I want to shout out to every and anybody out there that has a goal or a gift. Make sure you unwrap your gifts. Make sure you unwrap your gifts.
When people look back on your legacy, what would you like people to remember you by?
Giovanni is funny, outgoing, caring, loving, misunderstood at times, passionate, and talented as a motherfucker.
Appreciate your time, Giovanni. It's a pleasure interviewing you, man. I'm glad I was able to catch up, and looking forward to seeing more of what you got in your future and what you Bobby love in his future and what he's doing. And I'm glad I was able to do an interview, man. Wish you all the best and support.
I love you, Justin, man. Thank you so much, brother.